Today, we're going to be installing this 20-inch LED light bar from our new Zenith range onto this 100 series Land Cruiser. Should take no more than a couple of hours with the right tools, so let's crack right into it. So with the new Zenith LED light bar range, we have two mounting methods. A slimline bracket that keeps the light bar very low to whatever you're mounting it to, and right angle brackets that can be mounted to either end of the light bar. This will allow you to kind of mount it in any scenario you want it to be mounted in. Today, we're going to be using the low profile mounting brackets as that's the better option because of the pre-drilled holes in the bull bar, and it's just going to look a hell of a lot more cleaner. What I'd recommend doing when mounting this light bar, chuck your brackets in and lightly tighten up your Allen key hardware, just so the bracket can still have a bit of movement when you go to kind of gauge up your mounting positions on the bull bar. Saves having to take the light bar on and off multiple times trying to get the brackets right, and just saves a lot of time really. Alrighty, light bar's mounted up, it's time for wiring. Now Dobinsons do offer wiring looms to make the job 1,000 times easier. You'll get a full wiring loom. The length is pretty much basically the right size to fit most engine bays. And you'll get these two extra piggyback looms. So these will fit most lights on the market. And what this does is it will send a signal back to your switch in the cab to allow you to turn on your driving lights or LED bar when your high beam's turned on. Some things to be mindful of is obviously if you're not too confident in cutting and extending your loom, to make sure or to be courteous of where you're going to mount your relay and making sure you've got enough length for your terminals. This will power your whole wiring loom and your switch or your trigger wire for your in-cab switch. So this will go on the back of your high beam light using your piggyback loom. So you're gonna have to make sure and just be aware of all that. But apart from that, your switch wire and your main feed for your lights, there's more than enough length. So basically, we've got this relay mounted up on the side of this panel here. We're going to put this mounting terminal, and this spare MIDI fuse on this PDM here. We're just going to ground it out to the chassis, tidy up all the wiring so it's all nice and neat and nothing's flapping around. And yeah, we'll just continue to chip away at it. Wiring loom's all installed and lights all fitted up. Before we run the switch through the firewall, we're just going to give it a quick test run to make sure everything's working correctly. I'll just quickly turn this car on. High beams are turned on. Moment of truth. Would you look at that? It's working. That means the wiring loom's all installed correctly and it's working off the high beam of the OE lights. Now it's time to run the switch through the firewall. There's going to be a couple of tools you're going to need to help pull this wire through the firewall with ease. Bit of wire, lecky tape, and some snips. Basically, the wire is going to help pull the wire through the firewall, so you're not trying to, force something through. Lecky tape, so you can tape the wire to your steel wire, and these snips are so you can cut down the conduit. Now, what I do is measure out a length from your firewall to where the switch is going to be run, so you can cut the conduit down to that length. This way you're not trying to feed thick conduit through a firewall. And don't throw this away because we'll reuse this in the cab once the wire's been fed through. So the way to remove this blank, get yourself a screwdriver, flathead screwdriver, and you can just lightly pry it out. Now we're just going to pop a hole through this, put this switch in it, run the wire up to here, plumb it all up, and that's the end of the install.